Um, Thanks for the presentation. I hope you're not too hungry. Should be only 20 minutes anyway. So my name is Arnaud Camus. I'm only a developer since a few years already. And 2 years ago, I co-founded a startup called Impraise, where I'm responsible of the Android application. And so at Impraise, we try to enable employees and coworkers to give feedback to their colleagues. So it can be part of performance reviews or just continuous way to help your colleagues by giving them feedback on their behavior. And this is a B2B application, obviously, and it's a bit hard sometimes to having the whole company-wide employees using, having them to download the application or use the website and sign up properly. So we had a lot of issues over these past 2 years. And we did some iteration, and we tried to emphasize a bit with the small details on the screen, so it helps the user to fill properly the sign-up form. But I added this small asterisk because I don't have the perfect recipe to build the perfect flow. It's just some steps and some do's and don'ts that you can see. So the first thing, when you're building a new application or when you want to rethink your current application, is to think what will be the first screen that your user will see right after downloading the application on the Google Play. Maybe it's going to be a sign-up or login screen. Maybe they will be able to access your content. It really depends on your app business. There is no perfect answer for it. You may have a lot of constraints that need your user to sign up directly. So for example, a B2B application such as Slack, you must sign up on Slack in order to access any content. It makes a lot of sense because it's a company communication tool, so you cannot access anything if you're not logged in. And it doesn't really provide any value to log in with Facebook or any social network, as it's a company tool. In the same way, if you're in the B2C industry, you may force a user to log in with a social network. If you rely heavily in one social network, it's fine to just force them to use it, like Tinder does, for example. But if you can do it, just provide more social networks so the user will be more easy to trust you and trust your services. He has a choice, so he can maybe log in with Twitter, Facebook, or you can even create an account, like for the first example. Even better than that, if you can provide some information, let the user directly access the application. For instance, Airbnb does it really well. If you use Airbnb, you have directly the listing of every room and apartment available, so you can find the room that you want to book for your next holidays. And only when you are hooked and when you want to book it, then they will show you this screen that allows you to sign in or to sign up with different ways. And if you don't need your user to be authenticated, just don't provide any features like this and don't ask him to create an account if you really don't need it. You can easily track your user behavior in an anonymous way on your backend. And you don't really need, you may not need him or her to just create an account. So if you're building a calculator or camera app, you probably don't need your user to sign in. So now I would like to go a bit more in details for sign-up screen. So usually forms are quite boring to fill. If you ask a lot of information, it might be really frustrating. One application that I use regularly, and I was using it yesterday night with some of you guys, is called Untapped. It's a nice small application that allows you to discover local breweries or new beers. And you can track the beer you drink. But this is their sign-up form. So you have all this information that you need to fill. The username, last name, first name, email address, a password, your gender, your nationality, and your birthday. That's way too much. First, it's way too much for one single screen. They could split it in different areas. And it's also quite sensitive information that you may not want to provide to such application. Especially while using the application, you will notice that the gender, the country, and your age is probably just used for commercial use or statistical use, because there is no use in the application. So when I saw this, I got really scared. So I pressed the back button. I tried to log in with Facebook. But my Facebook is quite restrictive as well, and it only shared my name and my email. So I ended up again to that screen with just these two fields pre-filled. So at the end, I had to fill everything to use it. It's really frustrating, especially when you don't know exactly what you're gonna have to, what you're gonna see in the app, what the value that the app provides. So be careful not to ask too many information and not sensitive information. Another famous social network used to ask you for your phone numbers right when you sign up. So it's Path. They used to ask you your phone number, as they said, for controlling that you are human. I'm not sure how technically this is relevant, but luckily they just removed it. In the last update, when I checked before the conference, the field was not here anymore, so it's okay. Now we can see how we can help the user to fill these forms. There is a lot of very small steps that you can do as a developer to help your user to do this. So for example, to fill an email address, if you ask for the account manager permission on Android, you will be able to get the list of accounts that your user already have on his device. So you could use this list of email addresses to pre-fill an autocomplete text view. So as soon as your user starts writing his email, the system will autocomplete it. And by typing maybe 3 letters, it will have his full email address presetted. Another thing we do at Impress about emails and full names is that you often have your name inside your email. So we try to extract this information if it's possible and pre-fill on the right side your full name, edit text. This is not optimal, of course. If you sign up with info@yourcompany.com, you should probably not pre-fill with info. But same for the last line, it's not really good. So what we do to provide frustration is that we pre-select automatically the text inside the edit text, so the user has just to press the backspace and he can erase everything. It's not so frustrating if we did a mistake by trying to help the user. Also, something that's really annoying, or used to be annoying, is that when you have this hint on an edit text, and as soon as you start writing it, the hint disappears. And if you receive a phone call or something, you're distracted, and maybe when you come back to the application, you don't remember what you were supposed to write. So last week in Google I/O, Google released the design support library, and they implemented a small widget called text input layout. And this widget handles this problem perfectly. As soon as you're gonna focus on your edit text, the hint gonna slide up and will be always visible on your screen. So if you can use it, it's already available. Just use the library and enjoy it. In the same area, there is always an issue when you try to log in. And you write your password, and you just did a typo. And since the password are obfuscated, you don't really see where the typo was. So there is 2 ways to display, to allow your user to display his password. Is either to do like the Wi-Fi setting app does. You have a small checkbox below, and when you toggle it, you can display the password. Or you just add a small drawable on the right side of your edit text, and when the user presses the icon, then you're gonna reveal it. It's quite easy to do. You just need to set a compound drawable on the right side of your edit text, and then you're gonna subclass the touch listener. you keep a small reference of your drawable that you're going to use then in the onTouch method. And here, when the user touches the screen, you're going to try to see the intersection between the touch event and the bounds of your drawable. And if there is this intersection, you can send a callback to the method here called onDrawableTouch. And in your fragments, you will just toggle the input type of your edit text. You will change it from the variation normal to visible password, and it will change automatically. So this small enhancement can provide a lot of help for your user. And one thing that we usually don't do on Android is that to set up these XML tags, which are on next focus down, next focus left, next focus right, next focus up. These XML tags take a view ID, and if you set them properly, the system will directly understand which edit text will have the focus after you're done writing something on the previous one. And this is particularly useful if you have different images or different layouts in your view hierarchy, and they might take the focus in between 2D text. So if you do it properly, then the system will understand properly. Also, if you try your application running on Chrome with ARC, you will see that you don't have a soft keyboard. So you will use your laptop keyboard, and you probably want to use the tabulation and shift tabulation as you do when you're navigating on the web. And if you do like this, it will be handled properly. Another thing with the Android keyboard is that they're really customizable. You don't have to do anything, almost, and they can be adapted for your use case. So you have different input types. If you expect your user to type an email address, then use the text email address input type. This will show the @ symbol and maybe a TLD according to the keyboard you're using. If you want your user to write some numeric or some numbers, then use the numeric type, and it will show the numeric keyboard. You also have the editor info, the IME options that customize the small bottom right key on your keyboard. And this can be, for example, a done action, or next, previous, or the search icon. So if you have a search view by default, this icon will be the search icon. But if you want user to log in, then you can also specify a custom string and say, OK, log in. And your user will see by looking at his keyboard that he's going to perform the right action. If you want a bit more materials, there is two nice blog posts. That one is written by the founder of Stack Overflow. It's not related to Android at all. It's just about user experience and how to make a right design for your login flows. And it talks a bit more about the copy you should use, or the error message. And user is king. It's a blog post on Medium as well, which is quite nice. I think I was a bit fast, but if you have any question.
Please wait for the microphone. Yep.